truth of it. I believed in God because my nan took me to Sunday school every week.
Okay.
Every week. So I was sitting in Bible classes. I learned about the prophets, the Trinity, from a Pentecostal background.
Okay.
So we would go to church every Sunday. We would do a travel away to another church, I think once a month. And then every other week was in a church on like a Wednesday or something, or a Tuesday or something. So in a month, I'd be in a church maybe 10 times.
That's quite a lot, to be fair.
So when people go 4 times in a month.
Yeah, do you get it on a Sunday tops? To go 10 times in a month.
Yeah, I'm going a lot.
So you're quite conscious of, I guess, God and religion from a young age. Yeah.
My nan ran it down my throat.
Yeah, fair.
But fair. I wasn't rebellious to it.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I was exceptional of it. Like I wasn't like, oh, what's this? I was like, okay, we're learning. I'm there. No, to be honest with you, this is in hindsight, not what I was thinking then. In hindsight, I was like, boom, I'm going to church, catch up with the boys, have a laugh. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you'd have to listen and you'd learn.
Yeah,
because
take it in.
The oldest child, because or the oldest teenager, would give the Bible class.
Oh, okay.
You get it? So, and then they would be instructed by either their mum or their auntie or by someone higher up than them within our church structure. Do you get it? Today we might talk about Noah. Today we might talk about Moses. Today we'll talk about the Psalms. You'd have to learn some verses. Obviously you've got to learn the Lord's Prayer, and then you'd memorise some verses, you'd learn a story, etc. And it would go on like this week in, week out. But by this time, I'm like 20, I'm like, nah, Trinity don't mean. I tell you what the problems for me were. The Lucifer story made no sense to me.
Okay.
Because I thought to myself then, and still today don't make no sense, but I thought to myself then, so you're telling me this angel said no, there was a war in heaven, and him and his boys left. I have bare questions.
Yeah.
How are you saying no to God for a start? First thing, yeah? How's angels feel like to say no? What?
The idea of angel doesn't make sense to me. Say no, yeah.
How old is this angel? Understand, yeah? Obviously, I don't know as a jinn, but how old is angel? A war in heaven? Are you telling me angels die? Because if there's a war, there's deaths. So you telling me now angels can be killed? If there's a war in heaven,
what power does God have, mate?
This is the question I asked when I was young. Yeah, like I said, today they still stand. How is there a war in heaven? What's God doing? Sitting back watching? Because it would not be funny if he partakes, everyone's wiped out. To get it. So these, where did it go on? Where was there a battlefield?
In heaven.
In it, like, so there's those questions I had then. I thought to myself, nah, that don't make, to me that don't make no sense. And where were those angels? And you're telling me since then till now, no more have left. What's their story? Where are they now? Because if they had free will, why aren't they just popping it down and saying, no, I was in heaven last week. Here's what went down. Okay, maybe some things you might think stuff like that's stupid. But this is my thought process then.
I understand.
So look, we've got to September 11th.
Okay, 9/11.
9/11.
2001.
Yeah, I'm in college.
Okay.
Training to be an electrician. Become an electrician. We're in class. It's happened. We got pulled out of class into the common room. We had a common room. We had a pool table in the TV. You know it is in common room, innit? Yeah. We chat girls up and that's trying to play a pool, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, look how good I am. Look how good. Yeah, baby.
See me?
So we were all there watching, like in shock. One tower was on fire, like being hit, smoke coming out of it, and then we see the other plane go back into the other one. Crazy, bro. Like
man, did they
people were crying.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked that they even like took you to go. They said, look, let's go watch it, as if it's almost like a drama show.
It was live. It was live, innit? It was happening live. Yeah.
I hear you. Yeah.
So we were just because people were crying, teachers were crying. Like this room was packed with teachers and students. Yeah. And it's surreal. It's like you're watching. It's like at first you don't think it's real.
Yeah.
You watch what's going on. You're like, at first it was like, oh, there's a building on fire, why are we coming out the classroom to watch the building on fire? Yeah. Then someone said a plane's here, and you're like, so why are we watching a plane in the building? It didn't make no. At first, it was like, well, so what? A plane's at a building.
Gravity didn't hit.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like shit happens, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
of
what? A
course.
plane is so what? Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
and then you see this plane, boom, and you're like, what? It was like, what has happened? You can see it,
But thinking,
but
what
the
is
question
actually
is, what's going on? Like, complete just, what's just happened? Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway,
Of course.
sometime after that, we school got evacuated. But the school got evacuated. London got locked down. Everyone had to go home. Yeah, no businesses were open. No shops. They shut down. Canary Wharf was shut down. Everywhere was shut. You had to. My mum had to walk home from central London where she was working. My mum had to walk home from. I know where she's working. She was working in a lawyer first. Where the Manches. Anyway, it's a some solicitor firm in the city. Anyway, it's like by embankment.
Okay.
I remember her having to walk home from there. Her and her colleagues walked a certain distance, then went off their separate ways, blah, whatever else. Yeah. Anyway, London was locked down. Sometime after that, we thought it was Gaddafi. That's what everyone thought it was at first. It was Gaddafi, then they're saying Saddam, Gaddafi. But people was like, it's got to be one of these two. I can't think of who they were saying it was, but they were blaming these two. One of these two, yeah. They were kind of going backwards and forwards because the Gulf War, I think, was in like, was it Gulf War 91 or something like that?
Yeah,
or whatever it was.
90 to 90 to 91, if I'm correct.
Something like that.
The years are off.
Yeah, so people thinking that must have been him. He's pissed.
Yeah.
So there was all these kind of rumours flying around. Then we heard about Bin Laden. Then we heard about it was bombs. Because at the time there was live footage.
Yeah, of course.
5 planes got hijacked, bro. They don't talk about this now. 5 planes got hijacked. 2 went into the towers.
1 went to the Pentagon.
1 went to the Pentagon. 1 went into come down in the middle of a forest somewhere.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the 5th one, or there could have been 4.
I think it was 4.
Yeah.
I don't remember the 5th one.
I think it was 4 planes then.
Yeah.
But then no one talks about that 4th one.
Of course.
Yeah, everyone talks about the Pentagon one and the towers. Then you had all these facts. Now we know they're facts. How are you going to find a passport at the bottom of all this rubble? They found one clean passport, perfect. This is a passport of someone that
That was
hijacked the plane. This is
supposedly. Passport's gone though, but passport's still there.
this passport is a passport of one of the hijackers. It must be them, but etc. He's Egyptian or whatever country he's from, etc. Then people started gathering the live reports from the firemen and the emergency services at the time, and they were saying, there's bombs going off. This was live at the time, yeah. There's bomb. We heard bomb. We heard the floors getting
Demolition.
sounded like demolition. But you know they drop a building. Boom. That's what we heard. So you had all these different reports, and then people then jump on the conspiracy theorist bandwagon. People jump on the.
How can you question it?
Same today with the pandemic. It's the same. Shock, conspiracy theorists, some facts, and some people that just accept it. Allahu A'lam, with it all. Allahu A'lam. Qiyamah, Judgment Day, everybody's going to get what they deserved. Get it? This is something that, and just on a little side note, this is something that we have to accept as well. Yeah. No one gets away with anything. You think they have. People perceive that they have. You might have something stolen from you. You never find out who that person was. Qiyamah, they're going to get Judgment Day. They're going to get it. So when these people that are doing evil in the world, they're blowing this up, murdering, raping, stealing, etc.,
bombs, yeah.
and they're never getting caught, human trafficking, etc., these kind of things, and they thought they got away, they got money in their pocket. Wait till Judgment Day comes. And they say, I don't believe in that. You think if you believe in it or not, that determines if it exists or not. You think if you don't believe in something, it's not going to happen because you don't believe in it? How big is your arrogance?
Just a rude awakening, if anything.
Yeah, rude awakening, exactly. So look, after school, after college, we're now talking in the days and coming weeks after, everybody, everywhere you goes talking about it. Like now, pandemic, everyone's talking about it. Who did it, why, etc. Real, not real. Now I'm talking to big up Mahbub Rahman, Bangladeshi guy.
Okay.
Big up Irfan, big up Imran. So these 3 guys, about 2 or 3 weeks before this happened, I'm playing football in the park. These 3 guys come into the park and like, can we play? And I was like, yeah, of course you can. My football, innit? You know, is you got the ball, your ball, you choose who plays, isn't it? Yeah, you know how it is.
Of course, that's the rules.
Yeah, so these guys played. Now 3 weeks later, or a month or so later, I'm now talking to these guys about what's happened.
Yeah.
We bucked up in the common room. I was like, oh, what's happened? You guys come football that day? Yeah. We're chatting, blah, blah, blah. They're Muslim. This guy Mahbub says to me, brother, like, Muslims not allowed to do that. We don't think they might be Muslim, but their actions are taking them outside of Islam.
Fair enough.
So their actions, although they might die as Muslim and they'll get, you might classify them as Muslim, their actions take them outside of Islam. And I was like, what are you talking about? So now we started a conversation about Islam. Now we're talking about Christianity, my belief, Trinity. What's the Islamic perspective on the Trinity? It can't exist, obviously. And then I'm not sure what he said, but at some point he told me about Kul huwa Allahu ahad. Allahu samad lam yalid wa a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir forgive me. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Kul huwa Allahu ahad. Allahu samad lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. I don't know the exact English translation, but it's say he your Lord is, and the word
God
here.
is one.
But the word here is, and this part I learned.
Okay.
This one part I learned.
Cool.
is ahad. And the reason why it's ahad, not wahid, because wahid means one.
Yeah, fair.
The reason why it's ahad and not wahid is because ahad means the one and only.
Okay.
As in, there's nothing else like that one. It's unique.
Perfect. That's
Yeah,
the word.
to get it.
100%.
Yeah. But when you say wahid, you say one. What comes before one? 0, innit? And what comes after 1, 2.
Yeah.
You get it? So now you're putting one in a sequence. So there's something before it and something after it. Whereas when you say ahad, there's nothing before it, there's nothing after it. It's the one and only, the absolute.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So he was trying to explain this to me, and I'm sort of like trying to get grasp of it. And he's opposing the Trinity with this argument by using Kul Hula
And the
ahad,
next line as well.
Allahu samad.
Lam yalid wa lam yulad.
He's not born.
Yeah. Or he's not.
And he doesn't have children. Yeah,
perfect.
he's not beget nor begotten.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Which is obviously.
So we're going backwards and forwards like this, but I'm not kind of grasping what he's saying. But he obviously gets what I'm talking about, and I'm sort of learning like this. Week later, we start talking. No, maybe not a week later, but within our talks, I've asked him about these questions now. What about the war in heaven? He's gone, no. Then he's told me about Iblis being a jinn. I'm like, okay, now this makes sense. That part makes sense because this is what I thought years ago. This makes sense now, obviously, because now in my head I think to myself, this is it now. I get it now because now this answers
Your little boy questions. Your young self questions. Yeah.
yes, bro. Yes, bro. Do you understand?
100%.
Now I've got an answer to what I'd literally buried within myself for however many years. No one's got an answer to this in the church. Ask them. If there's any Christians watching, ask. No one's got an answer to that, Aki. So this guy had an answer. I said, okay, so alhamdulillah. And then we started talking. Then he told me the story of Iblis.
Okay.
Mankind, the jinn were made before mankind, etc., etc. The whole story. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but Iblis has this story. Yeah. So he's cleared up that. Then he's giving me a Quran, English Quran.
Okay.
Then he's gone to me. Now I'm asking bare questions now. Now I'm sort of like, because now my ears are perked up over the weeks, innit?
Yeah.
And he said, in Marcus, West Ham, Marcus, there's a big masjid at West Ham.
Yeah, that's my local drummer.
Yeah, exactly. So they used to do lectures on a Thursday.
They still do.
Is it packed?
I don't go to it, I'm not gonna lie, but every drummer when I go there, they say, please come brothers on a Thursday after Isha. They still do it.
Bro, trust me. You want knowledge, yeah?
Go there, yeah.
Bro, on a Thursday evening, on a Thursday evening, those guys are sitting down. When I used to go there would be hundreds of people there 20 years ago. Literally, hundreds of people. I went there about 5 years ago. I was just passing, it was time for my salah. I went there. On a Thursday. It was people falling away from the deen, in it we know. So the numbers weren't as high as they were, but alhamdulillah, they're still giving their lectures. But those halls, it's three rooms in it.
It's huge.
Packed.
For the talk. No.
Packed. Maybe you'll go there one day, if you haven't been already. But you know how big those rooms are?
Yeah.
Packed, back to front, left to right. Packed, bro. You have to walk in, you have to step over people to get a seat.
Yeah.
In both rooms. So they would have someone talking in Urdu in that back room, the main room where they do Jum'ah.
Okay, yeah.
In that smaller room, they'd have an English translation. And in the smaller room, they'd have an Arabic translation. So you've got to imagine the different types of people here now.
Yeah, all cultures, all ethnicities,
Yes.
everything. That's amazing.
Yeah. So and this is another beautiful thing in Islam, is that you get to see the richness of the people, the diversity of the people within Islam.
100%.
So this guy said to me, look, go to the masjid on a no, he didn't say go, he said come. He said, look, meet me, I'll take you. So we went there for a talk, his lectures. By the way, I'm engrossed. So now there's another guy there, because he hasn't got all the answers to the questions I'm asking.
Okay.
He's introduced you to somebody else. So me and this guy now talking backwards and forwards. I'm asking him questions, blah, 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 this, blah, blah, blah. But when the talk's going on, they talk in English, but some words they use are still Arabic.
Of course,
yeah. One thing he said to me that stuck in my mind, he kept saying, it's like, samawat.
Yeah, sorry.
That's right. So he's saying this, and I'm like, bro, what does that mean? Because he kept on saying it. And he's like, it means the sky. Oh, okay. He said there's 7 levels. I was like, what? I can't think of where that result, I can't remember now. But something about that made sense to me as well. About the 7 levels, one above the other. And that also ties into the flat earth as well. Because there are other hadiths around this as well, which is why I believe the world's flat.
Okay.
But this is one of them. That Allah created the 7 heavens, one above the other, and He Himself says that in Islam, one above the other, like this, layers. You get it?
Yeah.
But if we're on a ball spinning across the universe at 100 and something thousand miles an hour, what are the layers like this? First, this is a question. It's just a question.
We'll load that
That's
one
what I'm
up,
saying.
yeah.
We'll come back to that.
100%,
We'll come back to that. So look, we are in a masjid. I've gone home, come back. The 3rd week, I said, you know what? And so my nan said to me, popped in my mind when I was there. My nan passed away now 3 years before. My nan passed away when I was 18.
Sorry to hear that.
Happens, man, it's life, but thanks. So cheers, bro. So we're sitting there, and my nan said to me, she used to say to me a lot about the truth. She said, it hurts you, makes you feel bitter. The truth.
Yeah.
And I was saying this, why did this truth make me feel bitter? Why? You know, when I had to analyse it, it made me feel bitter because I thought what I believed was right.
You have to accept that was wrong at some point.
Yeah.
That cognitive dissonance had to kind of change.
Yeah. Now I have to accept that everything I was taught, obviously I know some of it now in hindsight was true,
Of course.
but everything I've been taught is wrong. That's all wrong. You get it? That hurt me. That kind of, it bothered me. To get it? I was like, And then my nan said, then I thought to myself, you got to accept it. Not my nan said, I said to her, you got to accept it. If it's the truth, you got to accept it.
Yeah.
Just take it. It's the truth, innit?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Someone says the truth to you, you go another direction. Then you've got a problem with your chest. There's a problem with you, innit? You get it? So I said, okay, cool. I said to my mate with me, Mahbub, I said, look, I want to become Muslim. My man's chin hit the floor, bro. My man's chin hit the floor. He said, really? I said, SubhanAllah. That guy, yeah? Sorry. That guy messages me all the time.
You know what's weird? I think I might know him.
All the time, Mahbub messages me, how are you? Till today.
SubhanAllah.
Sorry, I need to compose myself, yeah? He messages me, yeah? It's 20 years later.
Take your time, bro. Like, I understand. It seems powerful.
He makes an effort on me 20 years later. He still messages me, how are you? Remember Allah? I'll show you his message now. Look, I'll show you the message he sent me. The frequency of his messages. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes I'm too busy to reply. And sometimes I reply. He never stops messaging me. Let me show you, look. Very, very good brother.
Does he run a creative agency course by chance at the moment?
No, he
I
doesn't
signed up
do
to
that.
something.
No, look.
The guy's name's Mahbub.
No, I know, but that's not him.
Okay.
I know what he does, look. Let me show you something, look. I'm still scrolling, look. You see, look, I'm still scrolling, look. March 2019.
Wow.
Messages me, and let me see what happened. So we were talking a lot, often. Then he just disappeared. I didn't hear from him, didn't see him, nothing. Yeah. And then boom, he was just there. Boom, I see him in the masjid. I was like, bro, in Tawheed, in Leighton.
Okay. Yeah.
During Ramadan.
Okay.
So you always Ramadan now, innit?
Yeah.
In the evenings we go for a prayer. It's quite long. It's called Tarawih. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, no, you are.
Tarawih, yeah.
Beautiful pronunciation as well.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. So I see him, yeah? I was like, bro, what's going on? Give him a big hug, where you been, blah, blah, blah. So we're catching up. He said he was married. It's gone left. He's back in London, basically. Yeah, the long and short of it. But that's coming in fast, innit? Yeah. So now he's back in London. That's where he's been for X amount of years. I don't want to tell you about his life, but that's what happened. He's here now. Since then, again, he messages me all the time, bruv. All the time. How's your Dean? Sends me something about Islam, a picture, or a link to the Quran, or something. Constant reminder, reminding me of my Dean. I feel like he feels like I'm his responsibility.
No, I completely resonate.
You get it?
with
Because he's the one who took me to the... I don't know. You'd have to have him here, innit?
No,
but
100%.
Yeah, I feel like he feels like he's got to take care of me.
that. No, I completely resonate with that, bro.
To get it, I feel like it's like I'm literally his little brother. Although I'm older than him, it's like he's caring about me.
100%.
Like, to get it, like that. That's how it feels. You know them way there, yeah. And he's been. I know, yeah. I don't ever ask him for anything, but I know if I did, I'd be like, boom, can you help me do this? He'd be like, yeah, yes, no stress, cool. What do you need, Aki? It'd be. There wouldn't be a delay. It'd just be boom, done. Or how can I help? He'd be there. Do you know what I'm saying?
100%.
So his chin, bang, hit the floor, yeah. And his eyes are welled up. I don't think to myself, what's wrong with this guy? In my mind, I'm like, why does he look like that? But now I understand why. Now I get it, because now I understand. You don't know then, in it, hindsight.
Of course, bro.
So I took my shahada. That was that. The guy said to me, look, once you become Muslim, go home, take a bath, and like ghusl,
Yeah, of course.
and choose a name. Then that was that, bruv. That was it. I told one of my friends, my best friend at the time, he knows who he is. Steam come out of his ears. Why you did? Why did you shouldn't do that there? But I was like, why is this really how you feel about these people? I never knew this about him. My Cody, why, I don't know, something, maybe he thought he was losing his friend or something. I don't know. Like, we haven't really had that chat, to be honest with you. Maybe it's time we had that. Because after about 2 years, we fell out. Yeah, we fell out. I didn't see him, speak to him for 9 years. 9 years.
And it's the friend you mentioned maybe on Joey's podcast. He said there's a friend you didn't talk to for a long time.
And then I saw a mutual friend of ours, a girl. We've all just been friends from our youth. She says that to me. Yeah, that's right. I think I can recall telling this part of the story. And she said, "Oh look, and you got over that yet?"
Yeah.
What?
Excuse me.
How's that one line just like burnt me? Like, I had to message him, and then we worked out our differences. And that time we spoke, I messaged him. I said, "Look, I'm sorry. I want to make things better between us, etc." Mate, sent him my number. He called me. We spoke. It was like yesterday, bruv. Man's popped out 2 babies, got a missus. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's carried on. And since then, we talk. We haven't spoke for a little while now. I spoke a couple of days ago, but we talk almost every day. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. You have your. Of
course, man.
But now our friendships.
Stronger, maybe.
Yeah, and he kept. Wallah, we spoke on the phone. Yeah. He said, "I believe what you were saying now. I get it." We had a mutual friend, Pakistani guy, big up Shams. And since then, he's obviously sitting. That's his neighbour.
Yeah, okay.
He's obviously sitting down, chatting to him, talking to him about Islam. And although this guy hasn't accepted Islam, he said, "I get it. Nah, you get it." At first, he thought I was loopy. He said to me, "I thought you was crazy." Like, the things he used to say to me,
of course,
I thought he was crazy. But you know what? In Islam, there's so much knowledge. There's so much knowledge, bro. Like, you don't you can't ever learn it all in a lifetime.
100%.
You can't.
110%.
It's impossible. If you pick one topic, you're going to run it. If, say, for example, you were to study the fiqh of the Quran, understanding the Quran, you got to learn, if you're not already Arabic, you'd have to learn the Arabic language. And once you start learning stories, pronunciation, become a hafiz when you memorize the whole Quran, then you get into all of the prayers that are in it, how it's used.
Jurisdiction.
It's
ridiculous.
You could spend a lifetime just researching the Quran before we start getting onto manners, like the jurisprudence, etc., all these other different topics. So there's a wealth of knowledge in Islam. But when I first got into it, there's also, and this is how I feel like I stripped back the layer off being influenced by the media. I'll try to tie 2 points together, yeah?
Good to you, bro.
So when I was being brought up by my nan, like I said, to live with my nan bought me the whole, we used to have a thing called Royal Britannia encyclopedias. Yeah, they were black, leather-backed books. And he got them from basically A to Z. Yeah, that was Google before we had Google. Understand? Google didn't exist when I was young. It came out in the 90s, internet, etc., etc. But when I was from a child up to 11, 12, 13, whenever the internet came out, and before people used to go online to search for things.
Encyclopedia was the way, innit? Yeah.
And encyclopedia was where you got your knowledge from. That's how people knew. So I was homeschooled a little bit by my nan. She teach my times table, teach me this, teach that, teach you that.
Yeah.
And whenever I wanted to learn something, she'd go look in the encyclopedia. Listen, when I was in primary school, and a little bit of secondary school, I used to get my homework, smash it. I'd always get A's. Everything was an A. Yeah? Because the homework, all the answers were in the encyclopedias. So what I had in the encyclopedia was greater than what was in the textbooks in ways of information.
If anything, that probably came from there. So you were at the source.
Yeah, do you get it? Yeah. So whenever I done it was always the A. It was always the A. Because I didn't have to remember what they taught me. I didn't have to take, because basically the way our school works was you'd have to go to the local library, get a book to answer your questions.
Okay.
I didn't have to do that. I got the books in my house. Do you understand? So I'm already on the journey of teaching myself, but I didn't realise teaching myself when I was younger was going to affect me the way it did when I was older. I question myself. I'm like, why am I like this? Why do I think a certain way? Why do I challenge this? Why do I? Or, you know what I used to have a negative spin in it. I used to think to myself, why am I arguing with everybody? Why is that? It ain't because I'm argumentative, it's because I know how to do my own research and I've done it. You get it?
From early, you were like a self-learner, which is rare. It is very rare.
This is it.
We're spoon-fed, man. We are, this time especially.
This is it. So when you say something that goes against the norm, because the norm isn't what people research themselves, it's what you're told by the media, what you've been fed by, spoon-fed by the school or whatever else. Do you get it? So I used to generally question myself and be like, because people just say to me, you're really argumentative.
Like, am I tapped or something? What is it?
Yeah. So then, if you hear it enough, and I was hearing it a lot, I still get it. People say to me, oh, you're really argumentative. It's not that I'm argumentative. It's just like I said, I've been in a habit of learning things myself, teaching myself from an encyclopedia. And as I've gotten older through life, that's always the way it's been.
I understand.
I'll research another way. I'll find out this way, or I'll find out about that way. I'll find out about that way. Do you get it? So it's like I said, it's not that I'm argumentative. It's I have a different opinion from you. Wherever your opinion comes from, I must probably know because I've had a part of that opinion as well. Not to sound arrogant, but again, flat Earth. Where's that come from? Where does the round Earth come from? Do we know? Do you know why?
I don't know.
Are we all right going that direction?
Yeah,
or?
no, let's do it. Great. You and transitions, you mastered them, mate. Let's do it.
Cool. So look,
Talk to me.
Yeah, so look, because I don't talk too much, I talk in it.
No.
But I don't want to sit here chewing your ears off.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel like I'm learning, so I'm sure when they see this, they're gonna learn. But transitions, mate, I'm proud of you. I don't know
Cool.
if you practiced it, but
So here's what I've learned. Now you take it or you leave it, and ultimately, Allahu Alam.
of course,
You got to do your own research in it. You got to find out for yourself.
Yeah.
You get it? Yeah. This is what's important. But I can tell you what I've researched,
Go
what
on.
I know to be true.
go on.
And I'll leave off what I'm.
Not sure about.
Yes, exactly. Through the fear of misleading people, innit?
Of course.
And what I say, you can research yourself.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So, start with the globe theory, yeah? I used to have a globe in my house as well. With my land, I had all the encyclopedias, yeah, A to Z, like I said, black leather back, Royal Britannia, a globe, and a chalkboard, yeah? That was a sketch pad, pens, pencils, all this sort of stuff. But that's what I had in my house. So this globe. Did you have a globe when you was young? Did you have a globe?
In school?
Yeah,
Like,
At school, yeah. So I had yeah. So yeah, I had one in my bedroom.
Yeah.
So I spin this thing around, looking at the world, blah blah blah. So when it comes to geography, I was good at it.
Okay, yeah.
Because
You
I
know
knew where the
everything.
countries were, blah blah blah, like this, yeah. And if I didn't know, I'd go look in the encyclopedia. But
Yeah.
I was good at that. Now, this is hindsight, yeah. So I'm gonna be mixing hindsight with present day, yeah. And it's not always. Sometimes it's a blur.
Okay,
To be honest with you, unless for what I actually remember. You
course.
get it, yeah. So when I'm young, yeah, you ever laid on your back on the grass in the sun,
Yeah.
and looked up at the sky,
Yeah.
and you can feel if you shut your eyes, yeah, you can feel when the sun goes past or when the clouds pass the sun because it gets a bit cooler,
Yeah.
and then when the clouds go past, you feel the heat of the sun again,
Yeah.
but then it goes back like this, and you have this. Obviously, the hotter it is, the less clouds there are,
Of course.
in a sense. Do you know what I mean?
The
the less cloudy it
feel
is.
the difference, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even like sometimes when it goes over the sun, like even though your eyes are closed, you can feel that shade.
Yes, yeah, you can see it. You can see it in your eyelids because when it's really, that's right. When the cloud's not there, it's bright red.
Yeah.
And then when it goes over, it gets darker. Yeah. You get that. You understand what I'm talking about. So, what relevance does it have to the flat Earth and the ball Earth and this sort of stuff? Right. This is what I'm saying.
I'm trying to
paint you a picture because this is the way things work in my brain.
Yeah.
And like I said, I sometimes ask myself, why does my mind work like this?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
That's one thing, yeah? So then you're in school and they're like, now, since I've been in school to now, it's changed. So they've had 2 theories within my lifetime. So who's to know how many more theories we're going to have as I go on?
Yeah.
And theory isn't fact.
Of course.
Yeah, it remains theory. No matter how much it's backed up, the scientists that give you the information, they tell you it's theory. Get it? Because they can't actually prove it.
Like,
So
evolution theory, all these kind of things, or even just like the Earth being round is still a theory. The molten lava inside the Earth is still a theory, not proven. So yeah,
you get it?
talk to me.
So you're in class. The sun is, this is what I learned. The sun is fixed. We're the 3rd planet from the sun, and this was in the encyclopedias as well. There's no flat Earth in the encyclopedia. From what I could remember, I mean, there might have been, but for what I can remember, you're the 3rd planet from the sun, and you're on a rotation. Now, 2 things. Your rotation isn't perfectly flat. Yeah, I think your rotation is flat, but the planet is slightly tilted. Yeah, slightly tilted off of its axis. Yeah. So them times there were 2 types of rotation, and I'll tell you the 2. We're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. Yeah. While traveling around the fixed sun at however many hundreds of thousands of miles an hour, like this, like that. Do you get it? Like that.
Yeah.
And the sun is 93 million miles away. And the moon, while we're doing that, the moon orbits us
Yeah.
like this. So that's the sun. So we're, well, my fingers mixed up. That's the Earth. This is the moon.
Yeah, and that's the sun going.
That's the
up.
sun.
Cool.
So we're like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're going around and around and around and around and around like that. Right.
Yeah.
That's what we learn. Today they're teaching us there's 3 rotations.
Sun is spinning as well now, if I'm right.
Traveling, and the
Around.
sun spins. Yeah. It's basically what they say was, we know we have cleft asunder. Basically, Big Bang exists.
Yeah.
This part's true.
Yeah, of course.
Allah refers to that as cleft. The phrase is cleft asunder. It means like this.
Okay.
So that phrase is in the Quran.
Okay.
So the Big Bang we know exists because that's how Allah started things off with a kind of, and the phrase is called cleft
We
asunder.
created every living thing. And then this is, and from water,
Water,
they
yeah,
created
I
every
think
living thing.
that's true. I've seen as well. Correct, that's true as well. And they found that out with modern technology also as well. And a lot of those liquids are what's called aqueous. So it means that you can't see them. But like inside wood, if you were to burn that wood, before it dried, you see water, see it bubbling. So a lot of liquids in the world are aqueous. But anyway, every site expanding away from that central point. And from that time, from that moment it happened till today, it's still expanding. Yeah. First question, into what? Going where? Yeah. Just two questions. Into what, going where? And they say it's expanding in all directions, and it has been since the start of time. Since then till now. This is what these scientists. That's what the scientific theory is on the Big Bang.
Okay.
Understand?
Yeah.
When that happened, to tie that to our solar system, when that happened, since that's been happening, the sun, along with the 9 planets within its solar system, they're being pulled along in the sun's magnetic pull.
Okay.
So they're stuck in the sun's magnetic pull. So you still got the sun, still got the same 9 planets doing their rotation around the sun.
Yeah.
But today they're saying, from that explosion, the sun's been going traveling.
Okay. Where to?
Yeah, that's what I said. Where to and into what?
Yeah.
As it's traveling, it's pulled along these 9 planets. Earth is one of them. Saturn, Venus, Uranus, Jupiter, etc., etc. So so as the sun's doing this, all the planets are behind doing this, getting pulled along. Planets getting pulled along in the sun's magnetic pull.
Okay.
So now the Earth's still doing 1,000 miles an hour rotation in a day. That's what they say. Spins around 1,000 miles an hour. The sun's 24. The world is 24,000 miles in circumference. Okay. That's why it takes 24 hours to do one full revolution. This is what they say.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's doing this. The sun's doing this, going around. The Earth's doing this, with the moon doing that around us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Those 2 rotations are now going around the sun doing this as well. So we're spinning, the moon's spinning around us. So we're orbiting, so we're rotating.
Yeah.
The moon's orbiting us, Earth, and the Earth is orbiting the sun as the Earth shoots across the infinite galaxy. This is the second theory.
A lot of movement.
A lot of movement, yeah. Question, why do you see the same stars in the sky day in, day out, year in, year out?
I was going to question that. Yeah.
Now what you're saying is, if we shoot across like that, you're now saying that the stars...
Our view should be different, yeah.
Coming with our different what?
So now, they're saying that the stars now must be travelling with us, rotating around us, while we spin at 1,000 miles an hour, while the moon orbits around us, and while we're orbiting the sun as it shoots across the infinite galaxy. The stars are now rotating around us perfectly every night, because Allah also says that in the Quran that the people, or is it the travellers in the desert, they use the stars as guidance in the nighttime. Basically, the people use the stars as guidance.
Okay, yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
I think it's a ship that sees the star. I don't want to misquote Allah.
Yeah, of course.
But it's there that Allah's basically saying that people use the stars as guidance.
Direction, yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So if this is the case, this second theory is the case, why is it the same stars that we see rotating around us? Yeah. Now, for me, I need more information. I need more information. I need more. I need to know. And I think I'm like that with some topics because I was like it when I was younger. I'm comfortable sitting there just going through information. I don't get bored of that. That's when I'm ready to do something else, I'll do something else. But once I sit to myself, I want to find out, I want to learn about it, I'll do it.
Fair.
You get it?
Fair.
Bruv, you can YouTube time-lapse night sky.
Yeah.
All the stars rotate around the North Star. All of them. North Star's fixed. And all the stars just do that around it. Constantly going around like the same, like this.
Yeah.
Now, depending on where you are in the world, the North Star's going to be something else will affect the way you view the rotation. Okay. For example, if you're beyond the equator, for some reason, and this is what I have to learn. Yeah. So like I said to you, I don't want to say things to you for sure. In fact, let me not say it because I don't know that part yet.
Alright,
I don't know that part yet, so I won't say it.
That's fine.
So let me say what I know as facts.
Go on.
Water is flat. The surface of water is always flat. If you have a little bottle lid like this, and I have water inside it, it's flat. If I have a cup and I put water inside it, it's flat. A bucket is flat. A bath, a pool, is flat. A lake is flat, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now there's a lake in Russia, largest lake in the world, 400 miles long. 400 miles long this lake is. Yeah. And in winter time it freezes over. And the people from one side that would normally have to travel around all the way around, they cross and they ice skate and this sort of thing. Yeah, it's completely flat.
Okay.
And they say Kentucky is the flattest place in the world. No, Kentucky in America, flattest place in the world because it's got hardly any kind of like terrain, almost completely flat as well. And there's numerous experiments. For example, the Hudson Bay in New York? I think the Hudson Bay's in New York. I'm not sure. Somewhere in America anyway. This person says, and they're on the YouTube recording. They're like, I've come across this flat Earth thing on Facebook. It's rubbish. I'm out here with my wife. We're going to do an experiment. Buys one of these military grade lasers.
That's my question. I had loaded up for you. Go on, talk about it.
So he buys one of these military grade lasers. Yeah. Sends his wife on the other side of the bay. Calls up his wife. Shines his laser across the bay. She's like, yeah, I can see it now. I can see it. Blah 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 blah. Now NASA, not 100 years ago. NASA years ago, I put together a formula for working out the curvature of the Earth. Yeah, dug themselves a hole, haven't they? To get it, because this theory should be, they're saying, applicable anywhere in the world. Yeah. So they're saying over a certain distance there will be this much curvature, and at this distance that much curvature, and there's actually an online Earth's curvature calculator. Okay. So you could put in, I'm going to travel 20 miles or 100 miles, and the calculator will tell you back, there's this much curvature. I'm going to go from this country to that country, it's this amount of miles, there's going to be this much curvature, etc. And your point could either be standing up on a high building, etc. like that. You get it? Because some people have the argument is, because you're high up, you can see further. This is what some people say. Okay. And because you're low down, you can't see as far. But it makes a difference. Your eyes can see a certain distance, whether you're on the floor.
Up or down, yeah. It's not going to change based on,
because your eyes can only see so far, isn't it? Do you get it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some people argue, you'd be able to see all the way to China if the world was flat. Don't be stupid. Yeah, don't be stupid.
I wear glasses. If the bus is going past me, I can't see the numbers. It's like 5
this is it, because our eyes have a limit. The eyes have a limit, exactly. But telescopes have no limit. Yeah. But we'll come into that afterwards. So anyway, back to the husband and wife. They're on the bay. They shoot a laser across the bay.
So how what's the distance between the two?
I can research it now if you want.
Let's do it.
So it's done.
While you find it, I guess for me the main question is always the ends of the Earth. Do you know what I mean? Like in any game, Fortnite, whatever. Once you reach the end of the map,
that guy I was telling you about, he rang me. That guy I was telling you about, look at that. At 1:56. He rang me. That's crazy. The same guy I was saying to her, he messages me. He checks up on me there.
That's crazy, man.
Subhanallah, 1:56.
Shout out to him, bro.
That's literally. It's how long ago that was. This missed call.
2:20.
1:56. So 25 minutes ago. So it'd be interesting. Check if 25 minutes ago, when I was talking about him, he called.
I definitely will.
Check inshallah. That'd be nice to find out. That'd be interesting. Yeah.
100%.
So what we researching, the size of Hudson Bay, weren't we?
Yeah.
Distance across Hudson Bay.
Yeah, but at the same time, so then what's your argument for why do we not reach the end of the Earth? Like why why are we not just falling off the end? Or like what is it, a dome shape for you? Is it the one where it's like a cylinder, like a half a sphere? Or like what? How do you rationalize it? Because I'm just thinking it as, I'm sure someone would have said, all right, let's go to the end of the Earth. You know what I mean? Like what? Like do you? Is it like Hunger Games where it's like a simulation and you start glitching? I don't understand it.
Innit? Yeah, that's loading. I'll pop it in here. Distance across Hudson Bay. I can only talk about what I know. It's got a distance across. How long is Hudson Bay?
Yeah, that's where for me it's a bit stuck. And then the other one is what's the benefit of, like, I get why, for example, the white man's broken off noses in Egypt to make him look white, or why we've whitewashed Isa alayhi salam. I get certain lies. to mislead. But for me, the flat Earth one, I don't see the reason for it as well. Like, what does it do?
Right. What?
1,370 kilometers.
Yeah, so there's a calculation for that, how much curve this should be. Basically, just to finish off
That one, yeah.
You shouldn't be able to shine a straight laser across.
Yeah.
Because we know,
off.
because we know as fact, light doesn't bend.
Yeah, of course.
It refracts in water, but it doesn't bend. Light doesn't do this. I can't shine a light that way and it'll bend around the corner. Don't happen. Wherever direction it's facing, it goes in. And refraction is when it hits the water and it moves and then it keeps on going in the same direction that it was already going in. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Light doesn't bend.
I remember them in science. I mean, you just
and also gravity, they say, is continuous. But even in Islam, we have to get it in our brains that it is Allah that controls all these things.
Of course.
Because we know Sulaiman flew.
Yeah. And he used like jinns to create palaces and stuff.
To carry it. Yeah, and do things. So our what we're taught by modern science isn't always accurate according to Islam. We have to accept that Allah is in control of all these things. And it's, for example, we know that there's a certain type of jinn that can either, and this part is theoretical because we weren't there, can either rearrange matter, because Sulaiman alayhi salam, when he was meeting, when Bilqis was coming, the Queen of Bilqis, Queen of Sheba, was coming to meet him, he said to his council, which of you can retrieve her throne before she arrives here? Yeah? One person says something, and this person said in the blink of an eye, one of these Ifrit jinn. Yes? So, an Ifrit jinn, yeah. So we know it's either he carried it or he rearranged the molecules. There was a way to make it disappear and reappear. Or it was an illusion, but we don't know. Allahu Alam. What we know is the Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam, he asked for the throne to be brought. So it's either he carried it or he rearranged it, or and Allahu Alam. Allah knows best how that traveling off that throne was carried from Yemen to wherever he was. I think it was in Jerusalem. Yeah. So however it happened, Allahu Alam. So the reason why I say that is because now they tell you matter is solid, this can't pass through that can't do this, that, and they say there were certain laws, but we know Allah, these restrictions are not upon Allah, and at that time, Allah gave the jinn and Sulaiman some kind of blessing that they were able to do that. Again, Allah knows best.
100%. It's like the story of Prophet Muhammad traveling on the creature to go up to the seventh, to see the heavens.
We know
science would be like how, but Allahu Alam, if it happened, it happened. You get it?
Yeah, and also when they aspired to, when the Quraysh met with the Dajjal to, was it Dajjal they met? Yeah, it was the Dajjal. Iblis, no, it wasn't Dajjal. Dajjal's locked up. Iblis, the Quraysh met with Iblis. Iblis is Lucifer, to conspire to kill the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he was in the meeting with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was with Jibreel. This is on the same night. Was with Jibreel there, and they didn't see him. And he was there, and they were conspiring against him. So we know that there's also these gifts and blessings that Allah has chosen to protect people with go against the laws of science.
Yeah, of course.
You get it? They're completely against the laws of science. Do you understand? One time Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had milk coming out of his hands. You know this from his fingers. You know this? Yeah. You know he had blessed hands. They were right when he left. When he had to flee Mecca. He left with Abu Bakr.
Yeah.
I can't figure where they were going. But whilst they were fleeing on that journey, he stopped by, I'm not sure if it was a farm or something, but the goat, female goat, wasn't producing any milk. He said, "Can I?" He said, "Yeah, well, carry on, mate. It's not producing any milk." Boom, boom, boom. The udders became full with milk. Do you understand? So we know his hands were blessed.
Yeah, of course.
When he was a child, Allah gave him the moon to control, like this. So when he would move his hands, the moon would move. Understand? Yeah. And then the Jews at the time were asking for a miracle. If you are who you say you are, and you can do what you say you can do, prove it. He said, no problem. Split the moon in half, put the moon back together again. Obviously, these things come from the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but he knows he was going to be able to do that. Do you understand? I always have this argument that not everything in science is fact.
Of course.
Because we have evidences of things being completely against science. If for example, gravity. You want to roll a ball down the hill. If I'm on top of the hill and I kick a ball and it rolls, it's going to roll down the hill. We know this, right? Yeah. We accept if Allah wants it to roll back up again, it will do that. Yeah, of course. You get it? And people might sit like, I know what we're talking about. This is what it is. You don't want to accept it? Fine. 100%. But we accept that Allah can make the ball go down, and if he wants to, he can make it up again. You understand? So look, yeah. The water is flat, the bucket's flat, all this is flat. I'm saying we can see that as fact. Yeah. That's something tangible, non-theoretical. It's literal. Then how is the world a ball?
Yeah, and oceans would literally be somehow upside down.
There is no upside down in space, and this is also a misconception. In space, there's no upside down.
How do you mean? Well, like if the globe is like this, yeah, say we're in England, and like the south is here, the waters, them oceans are being pulled by gravity, so essentially they're upside down, no? Or no?
If you apply what they're saying, yeah, I don't believe that.
Yeah, okay, yeah, of course, yeah.
But if you apply what they're saying, there's no top and bottom in space because it's infinite, right? Yeah. Like I said, like what they say, it's expanding into what going where.
Yeah.
So if it's true that there was a cleft asunder and it's expanding, for it to be expanding into a room, there'd be a top and a bottom to a room or 4 walls. But you're saying it's constantly expanding into what, like I said, into what going where. You get it? So there is no up and down, left and right. There's backwards and forwards like this, but there's no kind of like in space. If you had the earth here and my hand here and I drop something, it wouldn't fall like that because there's no gravity in space. Do you get it? Yeah. So what they're saying is that I've lost my train of thought.
Water being flat.
That's it. So if we can see, you and I can do those experiments, and we can see all over the world, there's water and landmass that's flat. How is the world a ball? This is it. People want to say, oh, you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. And the first thing people always do is insult when it comes to you saying something to them that's outside of their realms of
understanding
and what they can fathom.
Yeah.
As well. 100%. Yeah, understanding and what they can fathom. People always want to argue. Oh, what do you feel? I'm like, why? Insult, you're stupid. But I'm like, cool. Once you calm down, what's your argument? Yeah, let's have a conversation with that. Once you've gone past the shock and insult, do you understand what I mean? What do you think?
So, like I said, the water thing, as well, that's something that I've been able to get my head around. Like, how does that work? Because like, in terms of the upside down, I meant the Earth itself. Do you get it? If they're like, say this is the Earth like a sphere, yeah, and it's completely round. It doesn't make sense how oceans that are like supposedly below are being dragged by water. But for me,
because they say that in the middle, is a molten lava core, and the rotation of this metal and lava causes everything on the planet to be sucked towards that center. That's how gravity works. That's how they're saying it works.
So I just wanted to, because you've seen that experiment with the Hudson River, it doesn't even matter. But I've also seen experiment. It was on the YouTube video. I can't remember. I wish I could like quote it better. But they were speaking on Aristotle doing it with a telescope and looking at a flag of a boat going into the distance. And so they done a similar experiment where the boat goes into the distance and it has a flag with 3 stripes on it. And it says that the further it goes, they have telescopes on it and like big cameras with huge like
lenses.
Yeah, and they say that, and you saw it yourself, that the strips of the flag would disappear one by one, as if it was going into the water. But they're talking about that was the curvature, that was the reason for it. Yeah. So literally, the two experiments that you've done with the Hudson, well not you personally, but the one that you've seen with the Hudson River, and this one, they contradict each other.
Yeah. Let me try to explain. You see, perspective. So, if I hold my finger here in front of my face like this, yeah, it's right by that key over there by the door. But it's not by the key, it's in front of my face. Understand? But from my perspective, it looks like it's there. Understand? So we have to understand the limitations and what our eyes can and can't see and do. You get it? Get myself, because I've had to find out. This is why I have an argument to it. This is why I'm not to be rude, but I'm not surprised by this argument. So here's the opposing argument to it. If the world was curved like this, like what I say it is, wouldn't the boat be doing this and not be doing that? First question. Because it's on the water, right?
Yeah.
So as it goes over the bends, it should be doing that going over. Not this going over. Do you get it? It's the
Why
first
does it
thing.
do that, though?
Why?
Why does it go downwards like that instead of that? Shouldn't it be flat completely?
It does it because of our eyes.
Okay.
Everything gets smaller and smaller and smaller. It doesn't go down at all. But the way your eyes work, you perceive it to be going down, but it's not. Let me give you an example, yeah? You see when you see a plane fly away, yeah? Do you see it flying down like that? No.
Ever.
So why does it work on a boat? If you were to stand on the beach now, and a plane and a boat set off in the same direction, right up, one above the other, a helicopter let's say, because we know planes fly faster, but you understand my analogy. So if I'm standing here, and directly in front of me is a boat, and directly above that is a plane, and they're both going in a straight direction like that, and I'm looking, no telescopes, just looking, my eyes like this, looking. If these people are right, and this boat does that, I don't believe it, but if it's true, and this boat does this, and I can see that within my field of vision, I should also be able to see the plane eventually at some point go like that as well.
But we don't.
But you don't, do you? You see it go off into the distance until it's a vanishing point, it disappears.
It's too small.
Yes.
So true.
It doesn't disappear, does it? It's gone outside of your field of vision.
Which I'm right, it's only like what, 60 kilometers or something like that. I can't see for too far. I'm sure we were different, but yeah.
Yeah. Do you understand? This is the first point. Second argument is this. If you're standing on the beach and you can see the sea from right to left, 180 degrees, right? You can see where the sky meets the sea. If you're telling me, again, I'm in the same position, and a boat goes off, no plane this time, but a boat goes off into the distance, no binoculars, no telescopes, and I'm looking, and it goes like this, and before it vanishes out my field of vision, you're saying it's going to do this and go over the bend. If I can see the bend from back to front, why can't I see the bend from left to right? Within the same field of vision. Get it?
Yeah.
If you're saying I can see the bend this way, if I zoom in,
which we can't anyway, really.
You can't. You can't. It's all about the limitations of your eye and your field of vision. If I can see from back to front this, why can't I see from left to right that?
But if we're talking about the scope of the Earth here, say if we're comparing, say we have a ball here in front of us, we're able to see that it's round. But if we're talking about the Earth, it looks so big. It must be so big to the point where
you can't see it's round.
Yeah.
But then you're contradicting yourself, aren't you?
How so?
If you're saying it's so big I can't see it's round, how can it at the same time be so big you can see the ball, see it being curved, see the ship over a curve? You can't have it both ways. You can't say it's so big I can't see it's round, and at the same time say it's so big but I can see the curve. It can't be both.
Yeah.
It's either so big it's flat. Sorry, it's either so big I can't see the curve, I can never see it. Or you're saying it's so big but I can see the curve sometimes I can, and sometimes I can't.
Yeah, but each time you've done, like you've said something, you've said it like with our own eyes. Like but also there's the limitations to that. And so
are you talking about the flat Earth now? Or the flat Earth theory now?
Yeah.
So we're using our eyes, but there's limitations. So when they use telescopes and they've been able to see, are we? I'm trying to say. Are we? I kind of lost the trail of what I'm trying to say, but
I can explain something to you about telescopes.
Yeah.
Because the argument against the curvature, we use telescopes. Because these people say, if you zoom in, then you can see it going over the curve. Our argument is if you keep on zooming in, you won't see a curve because you've zoomed right into it. Do you understand? So when something goes outside your field of vision, use a telescope, you can zoom back in on what you can't see. Do you get it? So it hasn't disappeared now, is it? It's now back inside the field of vision within the telescope or the binoculars. You understand?
Yeah.
Like this. So there's always going to be this argument of like, it's curved, it's flat, brother. All the theoretical stuff, throw to the side. I'm going to come to the dome and the limitations of the edge of the earth in a second, yeah? All this stuff about, that's theoretical. I don't bother. Because you're open to too many objections.
Fair.
And I'm not interested in that. Because they mean you're going to argue about something that neither of us can prove. That's pointless. What's the point? You can't prove it and I can't prove it. Why are we arguing? We're not going to make no progress.
100%.
But what I know is fact, the water's flat. You can't deny that. What I know is fact, light don't bend, you shine laser. We know that. What I know is fact as well. Let me tell you about something else. When they say, they've told us the sun's 93 million miles away. That's what NASA says. I don't believe that. You research it. 93 million miles away is what NASA says.
That's too far.
But they say because it's so big, you can see it.
Yeah.
Cool, bruv. You can't. That in itself to me, absurd. What did you measure that with?
Yeah.
How did you get this? How do you get this information back? Now they reckon they're on Mars. I can't get reception on the underground. They're sending you back live feed. They're sending you back live feed from Mars, but they're telling you because there's no obstructions, because it's just pure space, the signal gets all the way through. Shut up, bro.
Yeah, and yeah.
I'm not. I don't. The reasons they put forward, and I said I think it's because of the homeschooling. I think for myself, this makes sense, or it doesn't. I could be wrong, but it's my choice. It's your choice. It's your choice. You accept something, or you reject something. You get it, or you believe that, or you don't.
So, because you spoke about other planets, I want to ask you, when you spoke about Mars, do you believe it's just Earth that's flat, or do you believe the other planets are flat as well?
Those other planets don't exist.
At all?
No. So far as I'm concerned, no. Second thing, you can YouTube, yeah? Or you can do yourself. You can YouTube people zoom in on planets. They zoom all the way in, right in on these things. Planets, bro, it's all rubbish, this is all lies. They zoom in, they're like, I don't know what they are. Allahu Alam.
Yeah.
And ultimately, on a little side note, none of this stuff affects your
Day-to-day.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, it's stuff that doesn't affect your deen, your iman.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect these things. It doesn't affect your day-to-day. So what if the world's flat around? Who cares? You get it? Well, I have to try and keep us in a mindset of it's a topic that you're either into or you're not, but it doesn't affect you. It's like whatever.
I've read the
Do you know what I'm saying? Like star signs, whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just whatever, isn't it? Like who cares about that?
That for
Nonsense.
me, if you follow that, you're illogical, but like, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
Flat Earth for me, it's either like it's true or it's not, innit?
Some else might say the same thing about flat Earth,
Yeah.
but they're big into star signs. They get it. But
Yeah.
for me, that's just like, or for me, I suppose it's the same. People see star signs as like whatever. That's what I do, and people might say the same thing with the flat Earth. They're like, oh, whatever, man.
Some people thought, I watched a YouTube video, I think it's one of the two. He believes that when people start to be more aware of the flat Earth because it's a growing community, that it's going to cause, like, it's either going to be a new age, he's saying, it's either going to be a new age or like, it's going to be loads of chaos. That's what he's saying. But when I thought to myself, why would it bring chaos? Or is it just because they feel like the bigger powers are hiding something and that...
Or being lied to, basically.
They're exposing them.
To be honest, multiple civilizations all over the world. I've done a lot of research on this. Always thought the world is flat.
Yeah.
The globe theory has come around quite fairly, like I think moving like 400 or 500 years, like that.
That is fair.
Or maybe more than that. Let's just say it's 1,000 years. It's been around. I don't think it has, but let's say it has. Before that, people thought the world was flat anyway. Do you get it?
The thing about the planets. You said the planets don't exist.
Yeah,
Are you aware of? I don't know. I remember when I was young hearing a story of Yusuf alayhi salam, and that he had the dream that the planets bowed down to him or something. It just proves the existence of like the 9 planets or something like that. Are you familiar with that story or anything like that?
Yusuf alayhi salam's dream.
That's because
You sure it was the planets? You sure it wasn't that he saw the sun, the moon, and the
I'm not
stars?
sure.
He saw the sun and the moon and the stars prostrating to him.
Okay, that's the thing. Just
I
when
don't-
you,
it
when you
wasn't a
said
planet.
that,
It
I
was
just
the
remember
sun, the moon, and the
story.
stars.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's that could be very
Let me
true.
find out. Let me not say something wrong, but
No.
I do know the story. I think it's
I
it's
was
funny because
young.
I had this chat with someone the other day. I think his dad. It was his dad, Yaqub.
Yeah, if I'm right, Jacob. That
Yaqub,
was the
yeah,
story,
Jacob,
Yusuf alayhi salam is the one who, mashallah, was like supposedly so beautiful. The women cut their hands, while looking at him, they were peeling oranges in it. While they're looking at him,
Onions,
they were cutting his hands, and like someone.
Because he was given half for beauty.
Yeah.
So if beauty was a brick, if say beauty to quantify things, give you an example. If beauty was a brick, and you cut that brick in half, mankind, from Adam alayhi salam to the last man, beauty has been spread out, distributed from this brick for all mankind, from the first man to the last man, and woman, obviously, man, woman, child, whatever. And Yusuf got the other half. That's
10 out of 10.
That's the accent, yeah. Lock up your grannies. That's what he was blessed with. So his test, one of his tests was his beauty, because he had the advances of women. One of the most, a very powerful woman at a certain moment in time, a very powerful woman. And he rejected her advances.
Perfect.
Yeah, but because she couldn't handle the rejection, she ripped her top like this. She ripped her clothing. Her husband was the king. She told her husband, he tried something. Husband believed, locked him up. Some years later, then he'd done some dream interpretation. Here's what happened, yeah? 2 prisoners came to him with their dreams. They knew he could interpret dreams. So 2 prisoners came to him and they said, can you interpret our dreams for us? One of them dreamt that a bird was picking at his head, and one of them dreamt something else. Anyway, he interpreted the dream, yeah? And I think they both got freed. I can remember.
It's been a while, yeah.
So basically what happened is, the king had a dream that he dreamt of 7 fat cows and 7 skinny cows. Okay. And he was like, what's this dream? Yeah, I don't know what his dream is, yeah? And one of those prisoners happened to be in his company. And he said, I know someone who can interpret dreams.
Okay.
This guy, are you sure? He went, yeah, because he interpreted dreams. Blah, blah. Whatever the conversation was, he summoned for Yusuf. Yusuf interpreted the dream and said, you're going to have 7 good years of grain, and then you're going to have 7 bad years.
Wow, yeah.
So from the 7 good years, you need to put some away in storage to cover you through the 7 bad years, basically. Do you understand? So he took the advice. It turned out to be true. He sealed himself as a trusted to the king, truthful person, etc. Yeah, he got free, etc. And he also cleared his name.
Yeah.
Because then it became apparent that the wife didn't tell the truth because her shirt was ripped from the front. And if she was trying to escape him, her shirt would have been ripped from the back. So that was how they sussed out that she wasn't truthful in what she said, and that the whole time was locked up. But it's quite a long story, but at the early throes of that story, at the beginning parts of that story, he has a dream, and he dreams that the sun, the moon, what I'm going to research.
Yeah, do it.
I'm sure it was the sun, the moon, and the stars were bowing down to him, and he went and told his father, Yaqub. His father said, "You need to keep this a secret, etc., etc. Your brothers may become jealous of you, etc., etc." Like this.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, subhanallah, you realise that.
Yeah, he says, "Oh yeah, my father. Surely I've seen 11 stars, and the sun and the moon. I saw them prostrating to me."
Okay,
yeah, so there's no planets in there. Yeah.
That's the thing. I remember when you said there's none exist. I was like, "Swear the Quran supports
yeah,
that."
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. So also, I am. Mate, are we near our time now?
Yeah, obviously we've got a little while, so let's talk on just the final one, which is the shape. You know what I mean? Like I said, or the idea of like falling off, because I need to get a sponsor. Someone needs to get me a boat and get to the end of the earth, because I need to find out. I'm not gonna lie. So what's, I guess, your understanding for that?
This is theoretical. So, and I don't like to dwell on the theory stuff.
Okay.
So look, there's theories of it, because I won't say what they are, but the theories of it, because no one's been there, gone there and come back, or the people that have been there and seen it, with the way media silences now, how would you ever get that out anyway?
Yeah.
To get it?
Yeah.
I mean, and if someone is sitting at home saying, oh, there you go, it's not true, obviously you're not going to fall off the edge. That's something that was flat earth propaganda when it first came out. They said you're going to fall off the edge of the earth, blah, blah, blah. Brother, who's ever been to the edge of the earth anywhere? Yeah, that's one argument, right?
Yeah.
And people that believe in space, they'll mock it and say, who's ever been to the edge of the earth, blah, blah, blah. I'm saying, you people that believe in space, where's the edge of space then? Who's been there?
Yeah.
But you believe it. Understand?
Yeah.
Half of these people believe things, they've never been there anyway. Do you get it? But for me, that's the equal comparison.
Yeah,
do you understand?
They believe that space is infinite, so there is no edge of space.
Yeah, but
No, it's
they've
expanding.
said
There
it's
must be some
expanding
kind of
into something,
limitation.
right? If it's expanding, that means there has to be an edge of it somewhere.
It's for it to, yeah.
Be going, yeah. So wherever that edge is, where's that? They've never seen it, but they believe it. You get it? They say space is ever expanding, and this is why they try and tie this into Islam, because Allah said, I think it's in Yasin. I'm not sure. This is why I don't say what I don't know. I don't say what I don't know. So what Allah says something about the universe being an expanse, and they try and tie that. They try and tie the ever expanding universe into what Allah says in the Quran about it expanding. And I'm like, you shouldn't. It's almost like they're trying to, because there were scientific miracles in the Quran.
Yeah, of course.
But I feel like sometimes Muslims try and use stuff to justify science that doesn't work. Like, it's not like it doesn't go together. It doesn't. Oh, you know what? I need to know what I'm saying.
No,
I can't. If I knew the verse,
You could
I would
break it
create a
down.
proper example,
Yeah.
but I can't because I don't.
No, that's fine.
I
feel
don't
like
know the verse.
if anything, like we can break that down another time, and then somehow I don't know. I need to get a boat with not infinite, but bare petrol, and just find these.
You know, I'll let you go there. That's the thing, because the Antarctica, is that in the south?
Yeah.
Antarctic?
Yeah,
Antarctica.
and then Arctic's at the top.
Yeah, they have a treaty, so you can't go there.
That's a whole other episode in of civilization. Have you fallen onto that? The idea that like there is literally Greenland and the tropics in certain places like this. There is a treaty where you can't go across there. What are they hiding in Antarctica?
You're talking about the North Pole as well, and the South Pole.
Yeah, like Admiral
Yeah,
Byrd.
I've done my research on that. Yeah. And
that.
I've also read. You can listen to what he wrote down.
Admiral Byrd, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fair enough. I didn't go that deep into it, but I've seen it.
It's interesting. But then again, the question's going to come up. How do you know that's his writing? Because we're in a time where anything can be forged and copied and made up and added to whatever.
Yeah,
so if you hear someone saying something and it wasn't the Admiral, if it's not a direct recording,
how would you like
again,
prove that? Yeah,
now we're
verify
in the
that?
realm of just belief. I don't know. It's not tangible,
Yeah.
factual, evidential.
I understand.
In Islam, we have to have some belief in what we don't see. We believe in unseen, right?
course, yeah.
We believe in Allah, we can't see him. We believe in the angels, we don't see them. Understand? We believe in jinn, we don't see them.
course.
Exactly. So we have belief in the unseen, but that's a part of our iman. In dunya, if you want me to believe something without seeing it, okay, because maybe you're my mother, I have some trust for you, so I'll believe you. Similarly, when the Prophet went on his night journey, because of the trust people had for him, they believed his journey. Yeah, exactly. But when you're getting it out of school, the education system, this Tom, Dick and Harry,
Yeah,
I'm not going to believe. You got to find out for yourself. This stuff, then seeing is believing.
100%. I feel like that's a great reason to even leave it at. You get it? Because like unless it's fact or theory, I mean, the only thing to do is to dig in and try to get
Find
your
out for
opinion.
yourself. Yeah,
So I'm gonna
yourself.
do some more digging. I might call you one day, be like, mate, I'm fully convinced.
Let me leave you something then.
Talk to me.
From Islam,
I like that. Go on.
flat Earth. So research, for those you're watching, because it's called recorded now, isn't it?
Of course, yeah.
Research, when Allah says that He created one heaven above the other,
Yeah, you.
how do you apply that to the globe? When Allah says that above the Kaaba, there's a Kaaba in Jannah.
Jannah, yeah,
And if it were to, yeah, that's right. And if it were to fall, it would hit our Kaaba as well. So if the world's doing these 3 rotations, how's that possible? And we've also given an example of how the 7 heavens are, one above the other. It's like a ring in a desert, right?
Okay.
If you research the hadiths, the explanation is a ring in the desert. Ask you a question, what shape's a ring?
Like a
Circular.
yeah, like a flat sphere.
Flat circle, yeah.
Circle, so yeah. A bezel, yeah.
Yeah, so you could argue with that. Is it literal? Is it figurative? Whatever. Do you understand? So there are many different arguments for the flat earth.
100.
Many.
That's beautiful. So I just want to say thank you for coming on, giving us that
Yeah,
time,
man.
giving us that wisdom,
You're
bro. I
welcome.
really
Thanks for
appreciate it.
having
It took us
me.
a while,
Thanks
but
for
I'm glad, bro.
Wallahi. This guy, man. I
What?
keep saying I'm coming, and I don't come.
Oh, it's like a dog on a bone, bro. I didn't let go, bro.
Thanks, no, you're alright, man. You're alright.
But
Thanks
thank
for
you,
having
man.
me.
Guys, I'm sure you all learned something because I've been here receiving gems. Thank you again, bro, for coming. Taj, as always.
Yeah, no, it's been good, man. We've been speaking for like 2.5 hours. We may even have to chop this one up.
Yeah,
you
give
know,
him a part 1 and part 2.
and
Yeah,
part two, you know what I'm
100%.
saying?
Make him hungry for it. But yeah, man, have a good, well, whenever it comes out, stay blessed, stay healthy.
Them boy timid.
Not really. But yeah, man, alhamdulillah.